I'm Tony Magoo in for Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. Back in July, a jury found Matthew Nesbitt, the 45-year-old Palm Coast man, guilty of assaulting cops after threatening them with a knife and using his car as a weapon. He was sentenced Friday to 13 years in prison. Back in November, Nesbitt stole his mother's truck, used it to try and run down a deputy. He led cops on a chase, and during his stop by officers, waved a knife in front of them in a Z-section lot, which might have been a suicide by cop attempt, according to his mother's testimony in court on Friday. He was finally apprehended and arrested. Well, the jury found Nesbitt guilty on 7 charges, several of them violent felonies, because he had stolen a truck, threatened deputies with a knife, and punched a canine. One of the deputies who did testify was Sergeant John Welker, a 23-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office who supervises its canine unit. He spoke of deputies who have come face-to-face with life-threatening danger. You never really understand what that means until you're standing 10 feet away from a guy who's yelling he's going to kill you and waving a knife at you.
This portion of WNCF Local News, a service of the Daytona Beach International Airport. Fly to the Big Apple in a New York minute on JetBlue from the Daytona Beach International Airport.
A hit-and-run driver and a grand theft suspect has been arrested. With more, here's our John Arking.
A Palm Coast man was arrested over the weekend for his involvement in a hit-and-run crash and retail theft. Just before 1 p.m. Saturday, Flagler County Sheriff's deputies responded to the scene of a hit-and-run crash on Palm Coast Parkway. Witnesses reported a blue truck, quote, driving crazy and speeding, which led deputies to the wood line on Old Kings Road, where they found the truck abandoned after the suspect had fled on foot into the woods. Witness statements caused deputies to believe the driver was 37-year-old Jonathan DiMartino. They also said he was carrying new hand tools and other items when he ran into the woods. Based on markings on the boxes, deputies believe these items to be stolen from Home Depot, which was later confirmed. Deputies later went to DiMartino's residence and took him into custody. He was charged with leaving the scene of an accident with injury, leaving the scene of an accident with property damage, and grand theft. Items stolen from Home Depot were valued at just under $1,200. DiMartino is being held at the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility on a $5,000 bond. From the WNCF Newsroom, I'm John Arking.
A Flagler County man has been missing under suspicious circumstances since May of 2015, but new evidence in the case has been brought to the attention of the Flagler County Sheriff's Office. New DNA evidence, some cell phone records, and a $23,000 spending spree by 2 suspects may tie them to the disappearance of George Contos. Detectives of the Sheriff's Office have sent case records to the State Attorney's Office, hoping that they will charge 2 Palm Coast men, Donald Corcoran and his stepson Andrew Nemick, with first-degree murder. This all showed up on cable TV Saturday night on an episode of Cold Justice on Oprah's Oxygen channel. The investigation began 3 years ago, and detectives had already gathered the bulk of the evidence before the Cold Justice TV crew came to town, but new DNA evidence seemed to put the investigation over the top. Sheriff Staley said the Cold Justice team paid to send DNA swabs to a lab for testing. That resulted in a key discovery of Nemick's DNA on the driver's side seat lever inside Contos' abandoned car, and on money bands detectives found discarded inside Contos' home in the 5800 block of Apricot Avenue. When asked about the cash purchases he made in the weeks after Contos vanished, Corcoran ended the interview and asked for a lawyer. And now you're up to date. I'm Tony Magoo.